So yesterday, we continued playing the fourth case of the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles, which I thought was going to end up going into the next part of that case's trial. However, after doing a nearly 4-hour discovery section, we ended the fourth case. And the beginning of the fifth case is going to begin anew, continuing the trial that we were doing in the fourth one. We have found out some more information about Gregson possibly being the true Reaper of the Bailey, or the Reaper who was at least planning it, which I don't think so. He was probably tracking down who was behind it all, which is why he was killed. It also looks like Van Zieks was definitely being framed. And we're going to find out more information about the prison guard from 10 years ago who helped him escape, along with being introduced to the coroner's daughter, who also, I think the coroner is probably in on it and helped them. So I have a whole big suspicion that there was a bunch of them at the time who tried to help what's-his-name's father escape the justice system. And I think it's going to turn out that Mael Strongheart was the one who probably shot him and tried to get him killed in the first place and framed for this stuff. So they could have somebody who's scary or framing him for his own thing. I don't know how it's going to go, but I think that kind of has probably like a good feeling how it's going to go. But we're going to figure it out. We also found out that the Dr. John H. Wilson was not, in fact, Iris's father. Somebody else was. However, they're trying to make it feel like that it was Sasato's father was her biological father, but I don't think that's going to be true. I think it's going to end up being something much different. Like he was just the one who signed off on stuff, and I don't think he's going to be her actual father because they kind of rushed him off the moment that was a possibility to be real. So it kind of feels like they're hiding some more information on us. And it might even be my original idea of it's actually Kazuma's father could still be Iris's father. And they just don't want to be like, yeah, after your father died, I adopted you, or I was taking care of you, but then I had to go back to Britain for my own daughter. And because it kind of feels like his last will and testament might have been written to give everything to not, not to Kazuma, but to Iris maybe? Or maybe Iris was supposed to be sent back to Japan to go to Kazuma? I don't know. It feels like that's going to be something in there. I'm unsure, but we'll be figuring it out as the game goes. So I am going to pull up the Great Ace Attorney, and we're going to go from here, which I'm going to do at least a 2-hour segment, maybe a bit more. Maybe I'll start into the next segment and do a 3-hour one. I did intend to do a stream earlier today and then did not. And then it turns out that what I was planning to do tonight isn't happening. So after I finish some side stuff that I was doing, I figured I'd come here and do at least a little bit of the Great Ace Attorney streams. Oh, it was, oh god, yeah, I forget the title of it too. It was like I remember I was calling it a Balkan RPG. Let's see. I know I have it in... Yeah, I don't remember what it was called, but I definitely have it in my Steam library somewhere. But we'll go over that later. Anyway, let's pick up where we left off. The final chapter. The Resolve of Inosuke and Naruhodo. This also is still going to have to do with the Hound of the Baskervilles thing, which I think has to do with the collars and the jewels and the... Once again, I still think that the prison guard is going to be someone we've met multiple times. So, the time's finally come. Today, we unravel everything. I'll be counting on your support more than ever today, Miss Sasato. Miss Sasato? I know you might be kind of ah! Oh no. What's the matter, Mr. Naruhodo? Nothing. I was just saying I'll be relying on your support today, but... I'm so sorry, of course. I know I can be rather incompetent at times, but... I shan't let you down. Would you mind helping me to my feet, then? Oh dear. I really am sorry. Come on, Iris. I know it's a big revelation, but you should be happy you have a half-sister, right? It's Iris. You like Iris, right? Sasato-san isn't her usual self at all. But that's hardly surprising, I suppose. She's just found out that her father is the partner of a world-famous detective. I don't think that's the part that's driving her mad right now, but not to mention... good morning, sir. Lord Van Zeeks. Thank you for all your efforts yesterday. What? Did I hear that correctly? What? Oh, no, nothing. Just, I hope we can clear things up today. I really can't make this man out. His face says, I hate you. But his words are almost jovial today. In fact, he hasn't been very Reaper-like at all since this began yesterday. Lord Van Zeeks isn't the Reaper, Mr. Naruhodo. Good point. The Reaper. I suppose in hindsight, I shouldn't have allowed that misconception to go unchallenged. Huh? It was my tacit acceptance of that pseudonym. My failure to stop the Reaper becoming something more than a mere legend. This led to all this. But you're not to blame for that, Lord Van Zeeks. It's only because serious crimes in the capital dropped off so sharply when the public started calling you that. That's why you didn't say anything, isn't it? To be frank, I am not sure that was so reason. What do you mean? There was a rumor at the time that the Reaper was really a ghost of my late brother. Huh? That having been slain by the evil killer, Clint's restless spirit returned as some sort of demigod. To wield the deadly blade of justice what I, by dint of the law, could not. Yes, we've heard that story too. When I lost him, it felt as though I'd lost my guiding light. I did not know where or what to do. And so, in some small way, I wondered that perhaps those rumors made me feel his absence a little less keenly. Even if I knew it was just an illusion, just some nonsense conjured up by an over-imaginative public. He was obviously extremely important to you, Lord Clint Van Zeeks. Well, what's important now is uncovering the truth. That's all that matters. I know that you didn't take anyone's life, and I intend to prove that beyond a shadow of a doubt in court today. I never thought I'd say this, but I can see it in your eyes, that burning desire to cut through all lies and deception. I can't deny it any longer. You are a lawyer of absolute integrity. Thank you. Now tell me, why do I detect the scent of expensive tea leaves in the air? Oh, Iris, when did you get here? Oh. I brought you one of my special blends. Hurley loves it. He says it helps him to clear his head. I thank you. Oh, That's surely the first and last time I'll ever see the sight like this. You seem different today, Iris. Oh? Sort of. Subdued, I suppose? I am not. What happened yesterday is obviously still playing on her mind a lot. She's clearly very troubled about having stolen that autopsy report from Dr. Seiss' laboratory. Alright then. Good luck to you both. I have to make a move now. Oh, you're not staying? I thought you'd want to watch today's proceedings.
Well, I'd like to cheer you on, obviously. But it's a closed court, and I'm only 10 years old. Of course not gonna let me in. But I've got lots to get ready.
Get ready? For what?
Oh, yes. Would you like to take a look at this?
Isn't that one of the little felt dolls that's usually dangling from your knapsack?
Yes, it's a lucky charm. A little Hurley I once made.
A Hurley? It looks more like a Harley to me.
If some reason you completely run out of options in trial today, then just pull this little Hurley ears as hard as you possibly can.
What? Pull his ears?
That's right. It's a way to bring good luck. I think you might need it.
Iris's lucky charm has been entered into the court record. Okay, this is either something to make us feel better later or at the end of the game, or there's literally a secret clue hidden in there.
You think what we'll need is luck? I just sneaked a peek inside the courtroom. And it seemed very different than normal.
Yes, it would seem that a certain someone has decided to pull out all the stops. What does that mean?
What about Mr. Sholmes, Iris? I don't know. He was out all night. He hadn't come home by the time I left this morning.
Oh, I see. Was Professor Mikitoba out all night too? Do you think, Mrs. Sato?
Yes, it would seem so. I telegrammed the hotel this morning. And apparently they didn't come back to their rooms last night at all.
They?
Father and Judge Jikoku, I mean.
Yeah, I think the judge is dead. Judge Jikoku too?
That's right. Nobody appears to have seen either of them since yesterday.
Homes for the defense and defendant. Court is about to be in session. Make your way inside the courtroom at once.
Good luck then, Runo. Good luck, Susie.
Yes. Thanks, Iris.
And you, Mr. Reaper. I hope it goes well.
Once again, I thank you for your delicious tea. It was very soothing.
Oh, I'm so glad. We must go inside now, Lord Van Zieks.
Lord Van Zieks has already been the formidable prosecutor I've had to lock horns with in the court. But not today. Today I battle with another in pursuit of the truth. My best friend, Kazuma Asogi, who I trust more than anyone else in the world. Which, really? You sure you don't trust Sasato more? Now I understand what it was that drew me here to Britain all those months ago. Now I know exactly what destiny has in store for me. It's all been leading up to this one day. This one trial. To this one final reckoning. This one last time. This last final one impact. Third of November, 9:30 a.m. The Old Bailey. Oh, they even got rid of the judge. It feels more oppressive here than it did yesterday. Yeah, not only did they get rid of the jury, they got rid of the judge. Damn, all right, no judge. All right, I guess it's just full kangaroo court. Everyone in the gallery is just gonna sit there and it's just gonna watch me and Kazuma go at it. There are cold stares piercing me like knives from all sides today.
Ah, Mr. Naruhodo, look.
Oh, yeah, he's trying not to get covered. Look, Lord Strongheart? Kazuma must have known beforehand. There are ramifications of this trial now extend far beyond the murder of one Scotland Yard inspector. In fact, the events have come to light that threaten to rock the very foundation of our country's legal system. The escape of a... Nope, not that voice. The escape of... No, I don't know why I'm stuck in that accent now. The escape of a condemned criminal on the night of this execution. the subsequent unlawful shooting of the man, and the revelation that prison staff must have been complicit in the jailbreak. Britain is currently hosting influential members of the judiciary from countries all around the world. It is imperative that we uncover the truth in these proceedings to avoid international embarrassment. And so I can cover my ass. By loyal decree, this will continue to be a closed trial. And one over which I, male Strongheart, exercise total and unequivocal authority. I'm the jury now. The 6 juror flames just... As was the case in yesterday's proceedings, those here present in the public gallery are distinguished members of our judiciary assembled to bear witness to a fair judicial process. In other words, a collection of your acolytes, Lord Strongheart. On a personal note, I find this most distressing, Lord Van Zeeks. You are a prosecutor of exceptional talent. Much like your brother, Clint, in fact. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. For the trial of Barak von Zeeks, who officially stands accused of murder. Counsels for the prosecution and defense, are you in full readiness to proceed? The defense is ready, my lord. As is the prosecution. Yesterday's proceedings brought to light a shocking and disturbing fact. There was a side to the victim, Inspector Tobias Gregson, that was unknown to his superiors at Scotland Yard. Yes, he was carrying out operations in secret, which Scotland Yard knew nothing about. And in those clandestine operations, he had an accomplice. Mr. Danley Vigil would be given the inspector's identification and present him around the capital in order to establish credible alibis for Gregson. In that way, Gregson appeared to be carrying out his regular Scotland Yard work when in fact he wasn't. At the end of yesterday's session, Mr. Vigil, who had been suffering from amnesia, regained his memory. It would appear to be buried his memories in the time deep inside himself as a means of self-preservation. Because whilst he was engaged as chief warder at Barclay Prison, he abetted the convict's escape. Mr. Vigil is currently recuperating at St. Sinners. He's recovered enough to give a signed statement about his movements on the day prior to the incident. He's formally admitted to posing as Gregson whilst investigating the Red-Headed League. Which brings us to the crucial issue of the victim's time of death. The defense yesterday proposed a suggestion that the victim may have been killed 1 day earlier. This was based largely on the discovery that the victim's pocket watch had not been wound. The prosecution has something to report on that subject, my lord. Really? Go ahead, Prosecutor Sogi. I met once again with the coroner yesterday to discuss the issue. She confirmed that the defense's suggestion could not be ruled out. It's entirely possible that Inspector Gregson was killed on 31st of October, the day before his body was discovered. So here is my guess. My guess is we have his passport. Gregson was supposed to be leaving on the 31st. Right? He was also going to be taking... Yeah, he's also going to be taking Gina with him because he had it signed for 2. There was like a passenger for 2 that he had. My guess is that... Daily Vigil was not being paid by Gregson to be impersonating Gregson. My guess is Gregson was paying Daily Vigil to investigate the murders because of how he was involved in the first place. Which once again goes to my theory that Daily Vigil was a bunch of characters we've already met. Because in a couple of cases where this guy shows up, Gregson was always around doing official business. And I think he kept doing shit he wasn't supposed to be doing and getting fucking clapped by Gregson, being like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? I'm trying to use you to do undercover shit. And Daily Vigil has spent most of his time literally putting on disguises, which is why I think we've seen him twice before already in 2 other cases. And he's been guilty of those crimes as well. And the reason that he wants all this money and everything is because he wants to keep paying for his wife's top-class lifestyle. However, Gregson probably told him that, I'm sorry, I'm ending it here. I'm going to France because I've been assigned elsewhere. I can't keep paying you to do this anymore. And Vigil either got mad or wanted some money that he was being let go and killed Gregson because he needed the money for his wife. And then after he killed Gregson, he tried to hide it by pretending to be Gregson because he was such a great person of disguise, but ended up getting captured and fucked around with and found out by us. Well, he was pretending to be Gossip. Even trying to be a fake, he was even pretending to be a fake thing. So I think Vigil is going to be, my theory's right. He's going to have been several people throughout these cases. And he was all doing it for his wife. To keep her in such good regards. And that's why I think it happened. Because the possibility of Gregson being murdered on the 31st, which is when he was supposed to be leaving, probably when he told him, yep, sorry man, the paycheck's cut off, I'm leaving. That's my guess. I have here an updated autopsy report that includes the amended details. But the official opinion of the investigation team was made clear yesterday that the time of death was 5 p.m. on 1st of November. There are indicators of an attempt to disguise the real time of death, however. It seems that the natural decaying process of the victim's body may have been slowed by keeping it chilled. That's out of the question. There are no refrigeration devices in that part of London large enough to accommodate a human corpse. That's right, the outdated autopsy was already removed, you fool. I already have the updated autopsy report. It can't be updated because I already had it updated earlier. My lord, this is more than just conjecture. The evidence to support the idea. We must investigate thoroughly. Very well. The court will accept the new report as evidence. However, if this updated report is deemed to be accurate, it would give renewed significance to the movements of the victim on the day before the Fresno Street incident. It would, yes, especially since on that day, Inspector Gregson was using Mr. Vigil to cover up his real movements. It's conceivable that he was killed in the course of his secret activities. Do I sense that the prosecution has some information regarding those activities? Scotland Yard put an enormous effort into investigating that precise matter yesterday. I think we should begin by presenting the results of that investigation work. So the prosecution calls its first witness now. Gina! Probably. Yep. State your name and occupation for the court.
Inspector Gina Lestrade reporting. Sensitive old Scotland Yard.
A self-conferred rank, but never mind. Gina, again?
What's your problem, Odo? What's with that? Gina, again? Look, eh? The boss meant the world to me. He done more than me for anyone else ever did.
Oh, Inspector Gregson, you mean?
He got me out back of the slums of the East End and took me under his wing. He taught me that life can have a purpose. So that's why I'm the best person to be standing here speaking for him.
Oh, Gina. Right. All the goodness of Gregson's heart. Not all that he had his arm twisted by Sholmes, no. What's relevant to the proceedings is that the outcome of Scotland Yard's investigations yesterday. has revealed that the victim was carrying out some assignment the police knew nothing about. Very troubling. That face, Lord Strongheart knew. So, Inspector Lestrade, let's hear exactly what it says in that report.
Coming that up, sir?
The victim's movements.
All your detectives are supposed to follow orders and investigate what they're told. But a little research of the boss's office turned up a notebook that he had a load of secret meetings in it. According to that, the boss was looking into some smuggled goods dealing that day. Looks like it was a big job and all, but the coppers wouldn't own it yet. What matters most is, there's witnesses what saw the Reaper at the place too.
Smuggled goods?
I don't know, do I? I'm just telling you what was written in the book.
Tobacco, tea, spices, medicines, goods of all sorts flow into London by illegal channels from across the globe. It's well known that they're disposed of at regular black markets that take place in the capital. But the police are rarely able to locate them in time. So Inspector Gregson was investigating one of those black markets. It's been suggested that high-ranking government officials may be involved in black market activity. No doubt Gregson was trying to avoid details of investigations being leaked to the involved parties. That would explain why he was operating on his own authority without the Yard's knowledge. And do we know where the dealings were taking place this time? In a particular room of a certain exclusive London gentleman's club. And on that day in question, the accused is known to have been there. That's the conclusion of Scotland Yard's investigation into the matter. That can't be. We haven't heard anything about this. Members of the club have testified to it. There's no question. The accused, Barak von Zeeks, was present. That would be very significant testimony then.
Oh my, but Lord Van Zeeks has made no mention of this at all.
In short, Lord Van Zeeks had ample opportunity to murder the victim. Very well, then. Counsel for the defense, begin your cross-examination.
All your detectives are supposed to follow orders and investigate what they're told. Oops.
Let me back up. I forgot to press.
Hold it!
So, you follow orders, do you, Gina?
Nah, not me. I'm above all that, see?
Oh.
The boss always had special orders for me. Grab us some fish and chips, or go and give Toby his grub, that kind of thing.
So, errands more than orders then. The detective is still an apprentice after all.
Yeah, well, this apprentice ain't one to sit around and wait to be told what to do, even by the boss. That's why I've been doing my own investigations into what happened. I didn't find much at first. But a little search of the boss's office turned up a notebook that had a load of secret meetings in it. Hold it!
So, you went to the Inspector Gregson's things?
Yup, and as part of the independent Lestrade investigation.
I'm sure your superiors would be delighted that you're taking the initiative.
So I snuck into his office when no one else was about. Because if anyone in the yard had seen me going in there, they'd have turfed me straight out on the street.
This is sounding less and less like an investigation and more like something else. The prosecution understands that it was this very detective who discovered the notebook.
You got that right. Nothing gets past Inspector Lestrade and our trusty assistant, Chief Inspector Toby. We found him in one of the desk drawers that had a false bottom.
That's impressive.
So then I went to hide myself where no one could find me, so I could have a butcher's at what was in it. Because if anyone at the yard had found me out, they'd have turfed me straight out on the street.
Aha.
I've given it in now, ain't I? And if it weren't for me, it would never have been found. According to that, the boss was looking into some smuggled goods dealing that day.
Hold it!
Do you have any idea where those dealings were taking place?
Yup. It was all there in the boss's notes. Let's see if I can remember.
As I already said, the illegal dealings were due to take place at a gentleman's club. Yes, I remember, but I was hoping to find out the name of the club. That won't be necessary. What? It's conceivable that the club might be used again by the smugglers in the future. Therefore, the prosecution has been asked not to reveal the name of these proceedings.
I don't know what all the fuss is about. It's right here. All I gotta do is read it out. And I could too. I got this leading game buttoned up now. Can't I show you what I got? Can I? Can't I show you what I can do? Go on, what's the harm?
The judge hasn't signaled his objection yet. I could try to find out. What should I do? Yeah, yeah. This is a closed court. The proceedings are confidential. There shouldn't be any possibility of information being leaked. As I explained, there is some possibility of politicians being involved in this affair. The prosecution is rightfully exercising caution, I imagine. No, my lord. The prosecution has no objection. Cosimo? There's no question that Inspector Gregson was looking into the black market dealings. However, it's not yet been established that he was on that particular trail on the day in question. If the defense requires to know the club's name, the prosecution has no intention of being obtrusive.
Right then, I get to show off my reading skills. Apparently the smuggled goods deal was going to happen at a gentleman's club called The Grouse.
That sounds familiar, but I don't remember from where.
Hold it!
The Grouse? What sort of a club is that?
I ain't got the foggiest. Clubs ain't exactly my thing. But I am kind of curious.
They're not places where a foreign student like you would be readily admitted. Have you looked in the mirror recently?
I tell you what, me and Chief Inspector Toby could go in undercover.
Could you though?
I could pick out a few good marks and see what else I could find out while I'm in there.
I really don't think you should go picking out anything. Anyway, what's with these black market dealings were going to take place, is it?
Yeah, it's gotta be. That's what the lower ranking detectives at the yard reckon.
Says the even lower ranking detective.
Looks like it was a big job and all, but the coppers wouldn't own it yet.
Hold it!
So, how had Inspector Gregson come to find about this case?
That's the question, ain't it? But I'm just an apprentice, so...
And why didn't he inform Scotland Yard of his findings?
Yeah, that's what I was asking myself, 'cause, you know, I'm just an apprentice.
When it suits you, yes.
Anyway, the point is, something went off at the club, no question.
You can't say for certain, though, surely.
What matters most is that there's witnesses what saw the Reaper.
Wait, did I miss one? Looks like it was a big job and all, but the coppers were onto it. I did hit that one, right? Yeah.
What matters most is witnesses what saw the Reaper at the place too.
Lord Van Zeeks was at the club. He was. Detectives who visited the club yesterday to make inquiries have confirmed it. Several members report having seen the accused being admitted into the room in question as a guest. It looks like there's no disputing that he was there then.
Well, we know what Lord Van Zeeks was investigating Inspector Gregson, don't we? Perhaps he'd already discovered the Inspector's secret notebook.
Which led him to the club, you mean? Maybe. Presumably then, there were also eyewitnesses who could testify. Oh, yeah. Gregson was there. I don't know why the hell I'm yawning. None that have been identified at this time. No. So, the all-important victim wasn't seen at the mysterious club.
Oh, why ain't you asking Inspector to start it, eh?
So that's all I've got to work with. Jean isn't holding back with that ice-cold stare of hers, is she?
I really don't know what to make of all this.
Lord Van Zeeks told us that he was investigating Inspector Gregson, but he never once mentioned that he met the inspector the day before the incident.
You don't think Lord Van Zeeks could have been lying to us, do you?
That's not the only way to explain this.
Oh?
If everything Lord Van Zeeks has told us is true, then there must be a mistake in his testimony somewhere.
You mean there are details we've yet to uncover?
Exactly. A clue, perhaps, that even Gina hasn't noticed. That's what we should be looking for here.
Okay.
All the other detectives are supposed to follow orders and investigate what they're told. But a little search of the boy's office turned up a notebook that had a load of secrets meetings in it. Apparently the smuggled good deals was going to happen at the gentleman's club, the Grouse. Looks like it was a big job and all, but the coppers weren't onto it yet. What matters most is the witnesses what saw the Reaper at the place too. Also, I guess I should inspect the doll.
What a charming little rabbity version of Mr. Sholmes. Do you suppose this is how Iris sees him? Are you alright, Mr. Naruhodo? Your eyes are terribly boring to the poor doll's ears.
Oh, sorry, I was just wondering. What do you suppose would happen if I were to tug its ears with all my might right now?
I'm sure that we'd find out when the time is right. To become a proper gentleman, you must really learn stoic patience.
But I want to know. Alright, Clint's autopsy report. It definitely has to do with him leaving on the day of. Dated departure within 1 week from October 31st. Yeah, 1 week from the 31st. Which is which is where we believe he might have been dying. Yeah, the defense. Alright, we need a cross-examination to see if we can find out more about what Gina is saying without just asking Van Zeeks to take this thing. Oh, look at this cute little plush I have. Dated departure within 1 week from October 31st. Destination Port of Dunkirk, France. Purpose of travel, police business. Notes permission for the applicant and 1 additional person to travel. That was the passport, that's the blade. The witnesses that saw they saw the Reaper there, but they didn't see Gregson. And I did choose this one, right?
Hold it!
So I expected Gregson come to find out about that in case. That's the question, ain't it? Yeah, I'm just an apprentice, so she doesn't know. Okay, yeah. What matters most is there's witnesses what saw the Reaper at the place too. Looks like it was a big job and all, but the coppers weren't onto it yet. Apparently the smuggled goods deal was gonna happen at a gentleman's club called the Grouse. Well, search of the boss's office turned up a notebook that led to a lot of secret meetings in it. All other detectives are supposed to follow orders and investigate what they're told. Not too sure. Huh. I wonder what they're trying to... What would I even be presenting? What matters most is there's a witnesses what saw the Reaper at the place too. What would they want me to present for this?
Hold it!
Lord Vezzi's at the club. He was. Detectives visited several members of the report, missing accused of being admitted into the room in question as a guest. We know Lord Vezzi's been investigating Inspector Gregson, don't we? Perhaps you'd already discovered the Inspector's secret notebook. What's led him to the club, you mean? Maybe. Presumably then. I didn't see what that said. Presumably then there are also eyewitnesses who can say that Gregson was there, but there are none. None have been identified at this time, no. So the all-important victim wasn't seen at that mysterious club. Gina's not holding back with the ice cold stare of hers. You know what to make of it. One of Zeke's told us that he was investigating Inspector Gregson. But never once mentioned that he met the inspector the day before the incident. You don't think Lord Van Zeeks could have been lying to us, do you? That's the only way to explain this. Oh? If everything Lord Van Zeeks has told us is true, then there must be a mistake in this testimony somewhere. You mean there are details we get to uncover? Exactly. A clue, perhaps, that even Gina hasn't noticed? That's what we should be looking for here. A clue that Gina hasn't noticed? Maybe it ain't. Maybe the wig? I've always wondered what an underside of a hairpiece looks like. That doesn't surprise me at all, Mr. Naruhodo. You've always wanted to see what it's like beneath, don't you? I'm not sure that's quite how I put it. Must have been lots of bird line to keep it. Okay, yeah, I remember this one. I don't know, I'm assuming bird lime is an adhesive. This is going to be something for later. Like, it's not like we can ask her, Gina, where were you? Or what were you doing? Or all the your detectives are supposed to follow orders and investigate what they're told. What was he supposed to be investigating? Yeah, it was issued for travel to France the day before his body was discovered. This feels like this is part of it. But I don't know where I'm supposed to be presenting this. Like, I feel like it's the passport. I guess it's going to be present and then the passport.
Objection!
No. My lord, as counsel for the defense, I must object to that last statement. And as the judge, I must deny your objection. There is no contradiction here. Oh. No contradiction other than the fact that a Far Eastern lawyer is practicing in a British courtroom. Yeah, put there by not so far away Lord Chief Justice, if you remember. Yeah, I'll make a save just in case, because it kind of feels... I feel like it's supposed to be the passport. You're supposed to say, well, he was supposed to be at... Unless you're supposed to say it's when No, not that either. Fundamental inconsistency. Not that any British court would recognize counsel. What? Remember, this is a closed court. Whatever fate befalls you in here, no one outside will ever know. Unless it's supposed to be the autopsy? He was supposed to be dead. Why would he be following him if he was possibly dead at that time? Maybe that's it?
Objection!
No, not there. I truly don't know where this is supposed to be.
Objection!
Nope. I don't know what they would want here. Am I picking the right clue but in the wrong place? Or... all your detectives supposed to follow orders and investigate what they're told?
Objection!
No. I've got no clue, honestly. What matters most is there's a witness what saw the Reaper at the place too. Well, where's the... where? Inspector Gregson's metal traveling trunk that was removed from the scene, but subsequently recovered by Gina.
Objection!
I'm just randomly guessing now. I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah, I need a hint on this one, Storm Pike. This one kind of dropped me off cold in the middle of nowhere, and I don't know what they even want. I could definitely need a hint on this one. Letter of introduction? It is on this? The Blackbird line. Oh, it looks like this is some sort of steamship ticket. The SS Grouse. Oh, okay. The SS Grouse, first class cabin number 1. The Yokohama departure, 11th September. London arrived on the 1st. He couldn't have been there because it hadn't arrived yet. Okay. It's not a club, it's the ship. Ah, that's the boat Professor Makotoba and Jikoku came in from Japan, isn't it? Yes, I think it's called the Dunkirk on the north... yes, I think it called at Dunkirk on the north coast of France the night before, finally recovering in Dover. I think it's been almost a year since we arrived in Dover in the SS Berdia. It seems a shame not to keep your ticket as a memento of the trip, don't you think? Yes, I agree. I have mine safely in my diary. And I keep mine in my wallet, so I have it with me at all times. So this is not really a clue that Gina overlooked. Gina would have had no fucking clue about this. Oh well, strange. Where could have gone? Are you like this on purpose, Mr. Norohodo? Did I imagine it, or was that comment accompanied by a little sigh? Okay. Yeah, I would not have... I've read about these. It kind of sucks that they gave me that clue at the very beginning of the last case, and now it's been literally 8 hours later that they're like, I hope you remembered. I've read about these clubs that exist here in Britain. As I understand it, they're places where well-to-do gentlemen socialize with friends and colleagues. Don't imagine for a second that a foreign student like you would be admitted. Seriously? Is your mirror cracked or something? Do we know for sure that the contraband dealings were definitely happening at a club called the Grouse? The police are currently looking for evidence, but haven't found anything definitive yet. And I'm sorry to say that they probably won't. What do you mean by that? I mean that the place Inspector Gregson was secretly going to visit on the 31st of October may not have been a gentleman's club at all. You're showing a very irreverent attitude towards our country's police force there, Counsel. If it wasn't a gentleman's club, then what was it? A steamship. You think it's a ship? I have the evidence to prove it. Here. Let me see that. This dark-suited young man is not the least bit untrustworthy. The other side, my lord? Be more specific next time. Huh? Ah. It should appear to be a ticket for passage upon a steamship. Yes. The SS Grouse.
Objection!
So there's a steamship named the Grouse that happens to share a name with the club. But I'm afraid to say, there's a flaw in your logic there. How? Look at the ticket. Notice the date of arrival in port. The ship arrived at Port of Dover on the 1st of November. Ah. The day on which the sound like a gunshot was heard on the Fresno Street. In other words, on the day in question here, the 31st of October, when the victim was on the clandestine mission. Aha! Nuh-uh, Cosima, you're the one who fell for it. That's right. I'm saying the place where they went wasn't even in port yet. So how did the Reaper get on a boat that wasn't even docked? Oh, your witnesses are lying to you. That ship hadn't yet docked on British shores. Oh wait, wrong person's left. That boat yet hadn't docked on British shores. That would certainly make an undercover investigation somewhat challenging.
Objection!
The fact that the steamship hadn't yet reached Britain substantiates the defense's assertion that the victim was investigating the SS Grouse on the day in question. Then show your evidence for that assertion. Very well. In that case, counsel for the defense, present your evidence to the court now. Evidence that substantiates your claim that the victim was investigating the SS Grouse on the 31st October. Is it now the passport? It's nothing of the stuff back here, right? It's gotta be this, right?
Take that!
What's this? A passport for travel issued to the victim? Dated 31st October. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that just one day before the inspector's body was discovered, there's a distinct possibility he wasn't even in the country. Order! Order! The document is for passage to France. It does appear to have been officially authorized. The day before the SS Grouse arrived at Dover, It docked in the northern coast of France for a night.
According to my father, who was on board, at the port of Dunkirk.
Dunkirk, France. What could possibly have taken the victim there? I'm impressed, Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I certainly didn't expect you to get your hands on that passport. What?
You mean
You knew?
about this?
The prosecution's strategy for this trial has been laid down by the Crown Prosecution Office. On the day before the incident, the victim was investigating contraband dealings at a London club. That's the outcome of Scotland Yard's investigations, and the line the prosecution has been asked to follow. But, personally, I don't agree. I think the prosecutor's office is trying to hide something. What? And now that you've expertly disproven their assertion, I intend to reveal what I believe to be something to be. What are you playing at, Prosecutor Asogi? A courtroom is a form into the truth, my lord. Which is why it is my duty to present all the facts, without exception. Let me guess. This was your intention from the outset, wasn't it? The reason Inspector Gregson secretly made his way to the steamship docked in France on the day in question was to carry out a mission for the Reaper. The Reaper? Order! Order! What on earth are you saying, counsel? The prosecution made an assertion in court yesterday. Inspector Gregson was investigating the identity of the Reaper. When he discovered the location of the man's secret hideout, he was killed. As I'm sure everyone can imagine, by the Reaper's hand. But in reality, the truth is the opposite of that. What? Inspector Gregson wasn't investigating the Reaper at all. He was in fact acting for the Reaper. So, you're saying the mission he was undertaking was obviously an assassination. Barak von Zeeks never carried out any of the actual killings. Whenever the Reaper's victims lost their lives, he always had a cast iron alibi. Which tells us that he must have had an accomplice. As you claim, that was Inspector Gregson?
Oh, what the hell do you think you're saying, eh? My boss would never have done something like that.
And yet, when you consider all the facts, it all makes perfect sense.
No, it can't be.
We also arrived at the same conclusion, didn't we? That Inspector Gregson was operating as the Reaper. So, even if there's no way that person giving him his orders was Lord Van Zeeks? No, the true Reaper is someone else. Barak Van Zeeks is not the Reaper. A predictable response from someone who's advocating for the man. That even if it's true that Gregson was operating as an agent for the Reaper, the suggestion that he went aboard the SS Grouse on an assassination mission doesn't follow at all. Oh, you have some solid reason for doubting the assertion, do you, counsel? Absolutely. It's very simple. On the day in question, nobody was killed aboard that steamship. Professor Mikitoba and Judge Jikoku were on that very ship. If someone had been assassinated, I'm sure we would have heard about it. Pfft. What's so funny? All right, of course. No suspicious deaths were reported on board the ship. But I think perhaps you've missed the point. That's precisely why Inspector Gregson himself lost his life. What? Gregson did board the SS Grouse that night, with the intention of dispatching his mark. But his mission ended in failure. Failure? It seems that the defense, hasn't yet grasped a very important detail here. What are you talking about? What detail? Inspector Gina Lestrade.
Eh? What?
In the victim's notebook that you read an excerpt from earlier, that doesn't contain details of secret investigations at all. It describes 10 years of assassination plots to be carried out by the Reaper of the Bailey.
You're lying. Even all them bludgers got the taken out of it. Even if all them bludgers what got taken out at it coming. The boss weren't the Reaper.
Poor Gina. There's no question that Tobias Gregson was heavily involved in the Reaper's activities. You may just be an apprentice, but if you've spent any time in Scotland Yard, you must have heard rumors.
I ain't heard nothing. I ain't believe a word of it.
Then testify again as a representative of Scotland Yard. Consider it your chance to defend your boss.
I don't...
I concur. The witness will give a new formal testimony. Miss Lestrade, you will tell the court everything you know about Inspector Gregson's secret notebook. Reaper's notebook.
Yeah, this notebook does have a load of stuff about what the Reaper got up to these past 10 days. Which has been years. Names of victims, dates and places and stuff. But the last entry in there was October 31st. It said grouse for the place on that date, and then the name of the mark. There was a note about him being a criminal what got away from the Reaper and caught 10 years ago or something. But honest, the boss didn't do none of it. He was just investigating the Reaper, that's all.
Keep personal opinion out of your testimony, witness. We require only established fact here. This must be so hard for her. We can't deny it now, surely. We know skin or hodo. What can't I deny? The notebook contained the name of the final mark and the location where the assassination would take place. That information that the victim could only have known if he was working with the Reaper. Ugh. So, who was to be this final mark? Go ahead, Inspector Lestrade. Read the name for the court. The name that's written alongside the entry that mentions the grouse on the 31st of October. It's gonna be Jikoku.
Eh? Oh, how do you read this then?
Reading's still not her strong suit.
That ain't the problem what I wrote. It's a funny name. It ain't English. It's hard to read.
So it's someone from overseas.
Let me have a bash at it. Shishiro. Is it? Yeah. Cicero. Jig. Oak. You? Maybe?
What? It can't be. Seshiro Jikoku.
But that's Judge Jikoku.
Seshiro Jikoku. Certainly not an English name, you're right.
Objection!
But that can't be right. I know Judge Jikoku, and I saw him the day before yesterday, here in London. So I know for a fact that the man hasn't been assassinated. As I said, the Reaper failed. Oh? Gregson missed his chance to kill his mark and returned to British shores. But the Reaper wouldn't tolerate the mistake, so he killed the inspector. Personally. The Reaper, of course, being the accused, Barak von Zinks. It's an undeniably logical argument. Kazuma, you planned for the trial to go this way all along, didn't you?
Hold it!
Hey, haven't seen that all trial. Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hollow chalice while I stand accused of murder. Lord Van Zeeks, yeah, it's about time we got him to testify. Again, the accused has no right to speak uninvited in court. You will return to the dock. I say nothing of whether or not I'm the Reaper. That's the task for this court to decide. But there is one thing I can say unequivocally. That girl is no detective.
Eh? What? Nah, that's right, I ain't. I'm an inspector.
Repeating rumors heard around the yard, reading entries from a notebook of unconfirmed origin. That's not testimony, it's practically a script. No doubt the rest of this trial will go exactly as you clearly planned. Your hatred for me is understandable. In your mind, I'm sure I am the Reaper, who sent your father to the gallows all those years ago. But you're in danger of becoming a far more sinister Reaper yourself. By attempting to have me condemned with this feasible excuse for testimony. What did you say?
Mr. Naruhodo, this is our chance.
My lord, the defense requests the defendant be allowed to speak. He may be privy to important information regarding the testimony just given by the witness. Very well. I'll make an exception and grant the request. The defendant may remain in the witness stand for the cross-examination. Then allow me to toast the court's impartiality. Don't raise your glass in my direction, sir. Counsel for the defense, begin the examination immediately. I know you throw those things at people, so leave that away from me. At once, my lord. The Reaper's Notebook.
Yeah, this notebook does have a load of stuff about what the Reaper got up to these past 10 years.
In other words, it shows that Gregson was basically acting as a Reaper.
Not you and all. That's not the only explanation, is it? It could have been investigating the Reaper in secret, and that notebook said what he found out.
If I may. When originally people began referring to me as the Reaper, I didn't object. I believed the power to intimidate London's criminal classes into compliance with the law to be beneficial. But you carried out your own investigations into the true identity of the Reaper, didn't you? Yes, and those investigations proved conclusively that Gregson was one arm of the Reaper.
One arm? What are you on about?
The Reaper's victims are all extremely shrewd criminals at the top of their game. There's simply no way one person could have taken them on alone. The Reaper is an organization, with you at its head. I had spies at the yard keeping me abreast of Gregson's movements, letting me know when he was elsewhere. Though I've been able to check the most recent entry in his book, I knew the location. You knew it said grouse? Believing it to be a reference to the Gentleman's Club, I went there on the day in question to investigate, alone.
Ah, so that explains why several members of the club claim they've seen you there.
But of course, the inspector was not there, because at the time he was making his way to the steamship dock on the northern coast of France, as shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. Very well then, map to our testimony about the contents of this notebook.
Fine.
Is something wrong, Mr. Naruhodo? Yeah, how do you know about the trunk?
You seemed a little shocked by something a moment ago.
Oh, no. It's alright. Also, the inspector had a password for 2 people. So who did he take with him? Oh, no, it's alright. I'm overthinking this, aren't I?
Names of victims, dates and places and stuff. And the last entry in there was the 31st of October.
Names of victims, dates, places, and stuff. What in particular?
Well, besides the victims' names, this other name kept cropping up.
What other name was that?
It's the one I told you yesterday. The same name written over and over again.
You mean... Assassin?
Yeah, that's the one. She's a friend of yours or something, isn't she?
Were you even listening yesterday? Assassin. The assassin.
What? Like a killer, you mean?
Gregson was the tactician, the one who came up with the plan of attack. He investigated the marks thoroughly, finding out when they would be vulnerable, then who to use to get at them. But the person actually executing his plans was someone else, you're saying? If that's true, then the Reaper does indeed stand to sound like an organized group of vigilantes. Then perhaps what it said in the passport document. Permission for the applicant and one additional person to travel. Could that additional person have been clearly the assassin who was meant to take Seshiro Jigoku's life? Gina, can you confirm that against the final entry that listed Grouse and Seshiro Jigoku? What name was written?
Oh, well, that's the only entry that didn't have a name next to it, as it happens.
What?
It just had like a question mark or something there, I think.
In other words, Gregson himself didn't know the identity of the assassin in the case. But Gregson was the one making the plans, was he not?
Oh, how infuriating.
A nameless assassin. Also, it can't be Assassin, she's fucking dead.
It said Grouse for the place in that place on that date, and then the name of the mark.
Hold it!
And you're saying the mark listed was Seshiro Jigoku?
That's what it said. Funny name, if you ask me. And I thought your name was old.
So pleased I've lost my crown there. Mr. Jigoku is the presiding judge of Japan's Supreme Court of Judicature. I remember the man. He came to our country as a visiting student 16 years ago. Studying international law and diplomacy under your tutelage, Lord Strongheart.
Yeah, and then he ended up fucking calling out your judicial system. And the day he arrived, you decided to put a hit out on him because you were still mad that he called your judicial system a piece of shit. God damn, you petty motherfucker.
That bearded young fellow was a very able man, I must say. So, Lord Strongheart was Judge Jigoku's mentor. If I'm not mistaken, he returned to Japan 10 years ago now.
10 years ago, after that fateful case.
Precisely. In the aftermath of the Professor case, his reputation was organized immediately. His repatriation was organized immediately. It's a mystery why such a man would be listed in the inspector's notebook.
I didn't think it was possible, but the moods in there has got even worse now. Maybe I'll just keep on talking.
Also, I think it's funny, like, when we go to, like... When it gets to repatriation, like, when I'm reading the rest of the words just come naturally to me. And then I see repatriation, and all the letters just kind of just jumble up there and be like, well, it could be a million words. And it's like, wait a minute. I actually have to read the fucking thing.
There was a note about him being a criminal, got away from the Reaper and caught 10 years ago or something.
Hold it!
What do you mean, criminal? Judge Jigoku is no criminal.
Oh, don't ask me. I know nothing about it. Oh, do you remember what Father told us? That Judge Jigoku did once appear in court here in Britain. It was related to the Professor case, I'm sure.
Yes, of course, you're right. Seshiro was trying to mitigate Genshin's guilt, so he took the stand to testify. It made quite an impact. But he got a little carried away. Actually, he managed to break the witness stand. He also said some contemptuous words about the British Empire, for which he was charged.
It was a pitiful situation, yes. I'd forgotten all about it, but I prosecuted that trial too as it happens.
You did?
It was considered to be an adjunct to the professor proceedings, you see, but he was acquitted after being told to make reparation for the damage caused to the stand.
And there you have it.
Of what?
Certainly the accused hasn't forgotten his own rule. That there's no saving anyone who faces the Reaper in court, guilty or innocent alike.
What?
No.
Are you suggesting that the reason Judge Jigoku was targeted for assassination
The man was sent back to Japan immediately after that trial. The Reaper had no time to do his work. But then, 10 years later, the mark returns to Britain once more. Perhaps now you start to see just how vindictive the Reaper is. Come on, that's absurd. To take someone's life for that? Isn't the whole premise of the Reapers absurd? Killing those who have been found innocent? Not true. I found multiple people innocent with him being there and they haven't been killed. In fact, Gina's here right now and she's not dead. Huh. Interesting how I just blew your theory out. Clearly, the ritual by which the man operates are beyond the same person's comprehension. But...
Objection. Objection. Right, I've just about had enough of this.
Gina?
All this nonsense about the boss planning to kill people. It's cobblers. Come on, Otto.
Yes.
Why ain't you saying nothing? Why? Why ain't you yelling out objection or something?
Oh, what?
You gotta find the floor. You do usually. Someone's lying here, no question. You gotta work out who it is. Please, for the boss.
That outburst was an insult to the court and your own testimony. I might have known that a common pickpocket from the back slums couldn't make a detective. When this trial is over, you will forfeit your warrant card, Miss Lestrade. Is that clear?
I've had it with a lot of you. It's lies and bleed everybody in place. And look at this world in it. Well, I've had enough.
Gina? So have I. After that little speech of Gina's, I made up my mind.
To do what, Mr. Naruhodo?
There was one point in this cross-examination when something that was just said didn't sit right with me. One statement that seemed odd.
Oh. Do you mean?
I'm not going to let Gina's plea for help fall on deaf ears.
Come on, Otto, help. You're going to find a flaw somewhere.
Hold it!
I want to thank you, Gina. You helped me find my resolve.
Eh?
What do you mean? Amongst everything we've heard during this cross-examination, there's one thing that defies explanation. One inconsistency. What? An inconsistency?
Really, Otto?
I don't quite know what it means yet, but... yes, there's an inconsistency in something that was said by... is it... they're talking about Kazuma? I think? Kazuma said, don't you know the rules of the Reaper? Anybody who gets off is killed. Well, Gina wasn't killed.
Take that!
Yeah, I was right. Alright. By you, Kazuma Asogi. Me? Is this some attempt at filibustering, counsel? Prosecutor Asogi has given no testimony. What are you suggesting I said that was inconsistent? You let something slip that you shouldn't have. When I present the relevant piece of evidence, I imagine you'll realize what you've done. Very well, then, counsel. Go ahead. What evidence reveals this alleged inconsistency in something Prosecutor Asogi said? There's evidence? Huh? Okay, well, the reason why I thought he was wrong... okay, as for what else explains it, I don't know. Is it this one? That they were friends?
Take that!
I don't think so. But so, My initial impressions were correct. This is nonsense.
You accuse your best friend and back it up with that.
Clearly. The Ryunosuke no Hiroto I knew was dead, and struck down by my best friend.
I believe you intended to point out, Mr. Hodo, was what Kazuma said.
Because at the time, he was making his way to the steamship docked on the northern coast of France, as shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. Yes, that's exactly it.
Oh, he's talking about the blood on the trunk.
Correct, my lord. I made a mistake, that's all. What are you suggesting I said was inconsistent? You let something slip that you shouldn't have when I present the relevant... Yeah, okay, that's what he meant, that's what he meant. He mentioned the trunk, and he shouldn't have mentioned the trunk.
Take that!
This is the trunk that belonged to Inspector Gregson. A metal construction, is it? It's certainly very heavy. What's this? A bloodstain? And a relatively fresh one, too.
What? You mean they ain't got grease on the boss's fish and chips?
Fresh blood on the inspector's trunk. That suggests that the victim was traveling with that luggage when he was killed. That can't be. There was no mention of a trunk in Scotland Yard's report. Yes, there's a reason for that. Immediately after the inspector's body was discovered, one of the street peddlers made off with the trunk, hoping to sell it.
But I found it, me, with the nose for trouble.
Which means that nobody should have known anything about the trunk. Unless, of course, we're talking about someone who was present when the victim was killed. And yet, during the cross-examination of the witness just now, you said this, Kazuma. Because at the time, he was making his way to the steamship docked on the northern coast of France, as shown by the passport found in the victim's metal trunk. So the question is, how did you know about the inspector's trunk? We know the man went on a trip to France. Where else would he have put his passport? But you knew it was a metal trunk. Answer me honestly, Kazuma. On the 31st of October, where exactly were you? At the port of Dunkirk, on board the SS Grouse. Ooh, are we going to say... Are we going to ask him to show us the tip of his sword? Did he break the tip of his sword off in the case? Or is this someone else's blade? Ooh. Alright, you're going to have to show... Actually, no, he has another sword, not just Karama. He's got two weapons on him. Okay. At the port of Dunkirk, on board the SS Grouse. Is that the answer you're looking for, Ryunosuke? Kazuma, what did you... I hadn't considered the possibility before, but if Kazuma was on the ship, then it could only have been for one purpose.
Oh no, Mr. Naruhodo, surely you don't think...
Come on, Ryunosuke. You know the rules. The only thing that really talks in this courtroom is hard evidence. As I understand it, Inspector Gregson always took that case with him when he traveled. So as it stands, you've proved nothing. Kazuma, are you challenging me to prove it, beyond all reasonable doubt, that you were there that day, in the same place as the inspector?
He was there with Gregson.
There's a clue that you've overlooked, a secret that Trunk can tell us. I can't be sure at this point. I'll need to verify it. But I have a nasty feeling that I'm going to be right. I almost went to normal judge voice. The accusation being made is deeply disturbing, but nevertheless, we must test it. The defense will identify for the court where this Trunk's alleged clue is to be found. Oh, okay. I'm not opening it. I am opening it up. There we go. Yeah, yeah. Let's have a look inside. There we go.
Got it!
There's a piece of metal lodged in the wall of the trunk here, like the tip of a blade.
Eh? A blade?
Kazuma, slung around your waist as ever today, is the esteemed blade Karma. Of course it is. Won't you draw it, here in the courtroom, for all to see? Exercise caution, my learned friend. That man has 2 swords on him. It could be the other one as well. That man is the son of London's most notorious killer. Bailiff, watch Prosecutor Sogi like a hawk. That won't be necessary. Oh no! The tip is broken. If the fragment of metal from the trunk fits together with the end of the sword, the question of who was there with Inspector Gregson will be answered. Agreed, Kazuma Asogi. Expertly done, Ryunosuke. That's a point to you, and well deserved. Do you mean to tell the court, Prosecutor Asogi? Yes. On 31st October, I accompanied Inspector Gregson to Dunkirk in order to carry out a mission. So the additional person authorized to travel was me. And the mission was the assassination of the Mark. What? What? You mean you're the killer whose name was omitted from the notebook? You were following the Reaper's orders to dispatch Judge Jikoku? Let me make one thing perfectly clear. I have killed no one. Explain. I accepted the assassination mission, yes, and I accompanied Gregson to Dunkirk. But I never had any intention of carrying out the plan. You were never going to do it.
We can believe Kazuma-sama. I'm sure. After all, Judge Chikoku arrived safely in London the following day.
On the 31st, I boarded a train from London with Inspector Gregson. We traveled to Dover, from where we crossed the channel to Dunkirk. Then we boarded the SS Grouse and made for the cabin deck, as indicated in the plan.
You went to Judge Chikoku's cabin?
Exactly. He wasn't there, though. We decided to wait, but you've already told us you had no intention of going through with it anyway. I didn't come to Great Britain to take anyone's life, so I left Gregson and disembarked the ship. I spent that night at a boarding house in town and returned to England the following morning. A boarding house? In Dunkirk? My signature will be there in the register book. It would be simple enough to verify. Then, what became of Jigoku? Gregson was no assassin, so the mark was spared. I'm sure it's easy enough to imagine what happened after that. Gregson returned to England as well, having failed to complete the mission. He met with the Reaper in that room on Fresno Street to report the failure, causing the infuriated mastermind to pull the trigger and end his wretched agent's life. Then why is your sword blade in this trunk? That's the real truth behind Inspector Gregson's murder.
Objection!
But if you did nothing as you claim, how did the tip of your sword come to be lodged in the inspector's trunk? I don't need to answer that. Huh? The victim was killed by a gunshot. A small fragment of a Japanese blade isn't relevant to the case. No, it very much is, if you drew it on him and attacked him with it. And accordingly, I chose to exercise my right to silence on that matter. What do you mean your right to silence? Don't you plead the fifth of bullshit now. That stuff doesn't exist.
Be that as it may, the court will sequester the sword as evidence.
Oh, sorry, Cosmo. You just lost your soul. As you wish, my lord. The great sword Karma has been entered in the court record.
We must take immediate action now. And inspect the sword!
Karma, the great blade. It's such a thing of beauty. I want to gaze on it for hours. The tip of the great sword. Broken. It's such a shame. It's been so meticulously cared for over the years. I can almost hear Karma's sobs. Cosmo must have really taken a swing for that to happen. It definitely swung into the chest, or at least maybe was thrust into it, slid, and stabbed in before it broke off. Huh. There's nothing else to, Cause I think Cosmo still knows more than he's letting on, and he knows it's not Gregson. I think.
To verify whether Seshiro Jikoku remains unharmed.
What? Remains unharmed? I agree. That should be our first priority. It's recently come to my attention that he hasn't been seen since yesterday. How did you... When a foreign dignitary invited to Great Britain goes missing for 24 hours, it's only natural that the question of his safety should arise. You don't mean to say that you think Judge Jikoku may have been killed? The Reaper has more than one assassin at his disposal, and he has the power and influence to give orders from inside of the prison cell. Isn't that right, Lord Van Zeeks? If I were truly the Reaper, I'd be able to tell you.
Order! Order in the court! Order! We will take an emergency recess for 30 minutes.
Now?
Guests of the symposium have been told to maintain regular contact with the organizer's office. If the man can't be located within a half an hour, we will have to assume the worst.
Oh no, not Judge Jikoku.
No one would want to kill a harmless Japanese man who only just arrived in the country. Except that is for the Reaper, wanting to finish off a mark that slipped through the net 10 years ago.
I would have to agree.
As the Reaper yourself, I see.
Miss Naruhodo, for the defense's sake.
My lord?
I sincerely hope we are successful. If we're unable to confirm Mr. Jikoku's healthy existence in the next 30 minutes, you will face grave difficulties.
Why me? What?
Court is adjourned for 30 minutes.
Kazuma-sama, the Reaper's assassin. I feel as though I'm in a nightmare.
I can hardly believe it either. But on the other hand, Kazuma isn't in the habit of making up stories.
I have such a terrible, tense sense of foreboding. If something awful has happened to Judge Jikoku, then I feel as though things will only spiral further and further out of control.
I felt it from the moment I stepped into the courthouse this morning. That strange sensation that we were careening towards a foregone conclusion. Well, in the worst case, we might only have 30 minutes left. Unfortunately, though, I don't think there's anything we can do but wait now. We're out of options. Except for Toby!
Actually, there may be one last thing we can play. Or rather, one last ear.
Of course! The little Mr. Sholmes doll that Iris gave us.
For some reason you're completely run out of options in the trial today, then just pull this little Hurley's ear. as hard as you possibly can.
Perhaps now is the time. What should I do? Pull Hurley's ears or not? I mean, the game, I don't know why it gives me choices when it always is do it now. So, whatever. Here goes then. We're going to do it.
Good luck, Mr. Naruhodo.
No looking back. Heave. Ow!
That scream. That scream sounded like Mr. Sholmes.
Mr. Sholmes, where are you? Here, my dear fellow. Here. It's the felt doll talking.
Pull the ears again, Mr. Naruhodo, as hard as you can.
Alright then, I'll put all my strength into it. Heave. Ow! Please, my dear fellows, you don't need to pull my ear off.
Mr. Sholmes, where are you?
Myself and my trusty partner are presently in the first-class cabin area of the SS Grouse, which looks suspiciously like the SS Burya. They didn't even have time to do a different paint of color on the doors. The SS Grouse. Well, she left Dover last night after the final pieces of cargo were loaded. We are currently docked at Dunkirk, but due to be underway again in half an hour. You've taken a ship to France? Please, even with my athletic prowess, I would struggle to jump the Straits of Dover. After we left Baker Street last night, we hurried by cab to the station and by train to the port. In order to board this vessel in time. So, you mean you'd already worked it out? That the steamship was where everything really took place?
Mr. Naruhodo, pray, what is my name?
Sherlock Sholmes, world-famous great detective. Recited to perfection. Well done.
You're a genius, Mr. Sholmes. That's the only word for it.
Ow, 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 ow. Miss Sasato, gently with the generous ear, please. With the genius's ear, please.
Oh my, I'm ever so sorry.
If I may, Mr. Sholmes.
Ah, there you are, Mikitoba.
You may remember that it was I who in fact made it the connection to the SS Grouse. And Scotland Yard yesterday when we examined that notebook and I recalled my steamship ticket.
But of course it was, my dear fellow. And not once did I controvert that fact. I merely had our court-bound companions utter my name.
Yes, you did, didn't you?
We've just entered the recess. The trial resumes in 30 minutes from now.
And if we're unable to present any new leads then, I'm afraid to say...
Do not fret, please. It's for precisely that purpose that my partner and I have made this journey. I have no doubt that we shall have welcome news for you within half an hour. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. That would be wonderful. Until later then. Yes. You'll be hearing from us if you're not in touch first. Ow, 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 ow. I shan't be hearing anything if you keep tugging my ear in that mindless fashion.
Whatever was the idea behind making a receiver operate in that way in the first place, Sholmes?
Why, the deuce would I know? It's Iris's invention, not mine.
Whilst I know how much you enjoy being the hero of the hour, Sholmes, we have but half an hour now before the Grouse puts to sea again. If we don't conclude our investigations rapidly, we shall find ourselves on Naples before long.
There are times, Mikitoba, when you make a surprising amount of sense. So, let us begin.
First class cabin number 2. Yes, this is the one.
This is just the same Russian sailor, except his neck is now 2 fishes instead of 1 fish.
But I don't believe an investigation of the cabin is going to be plain sailing. That crewman standing in front door is an angry-looking fellow.
Why are you loitering here? Who are you?
My dear fellow,
You do not recognize a world-famous great detective when you see one. The question really ought to be, who are you?
do not recognize world-traveling great sailor, Tetchkin Stroganov, when you see.
That Sholmes written on his arm. Or Tenchikin Stroganov? Oh, it's chicken. Because the last one was beef stroganoff. Yeah, yeah. Do you not recognize world-traveling great sailor chicken stroganoff when you see? Great detective. Ah, I don't think so. Do you see that, Mikitoba? It would appear that this man is a devoted follower of mine.
Goodness me. Is that a tattoo that says Sholmes? I must say, well, such adoration is flat.
Well, I must say, whilst adoration is flattering, naturally, it does leave me a little cold. What are you talking about? Leave, now! How distressing. My loyal devotee knows me only by name and not by my appearance. And yet, I already know a great deal about you, sir. You have a brother, I believe. Like yourself, he's a shipman. Currently traveling the world aboard a Russian steamship, in fact. Now, did you know this? Elementary, my dear Mikitoba.
I'm sure it was. 3 days ago, I was bound for London aboard a ship, you see. We're looking for one of my fellow passengers, by the man of Jikoku.
There is no one with his name on board.
But we know that he purchased a ticket for passage.
Ah, you mean Eastern man. He left ship 2 hours ago. Here at Dunkirk. He said something about emergency, I think.
What? Are you sure? So Sechiro's realized that we're after him, has he?
His cabin is the one behind you. Would you like to investigate, please? No, I have out orders not to let even mouse inside. Mikitoba, be a good man and draw the sailor's attention away, would you? Make up some excuse that he leaves the area. Doesn't great detective see that I can fucking hear you? That even sailors have ears, both left and right. Curses! The plane... Wait, oh shit, Curses! The plan is ruined!
And you only have yourself to blame, I'm afraid, Sholmes.
Forget it, cabin door is locked. Even if I am not here, you cannot get inside. Mikitoba, I'm sure you haven't forgotten my special talent, have you?
Huh? Opening any lock?
Within a mere 5 seconds. So if you'd be so kind as to afford me the requisite time, old friend, in your typically accommodating manner.
How could I refuse such a typically unappealing request, old friend? So I need to distract that burly sailor for 5 minutes, do I?
Good man. So, the game is afoot. Alright, quickly, use the Sasato takedown.
This must be a mousetrap, I think. Perhaps I could distract the crewman's attention with this somehow.
Choo 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 choo. That sound like Big Mouse in trap.
Choo 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 choo.
I will bring bucket of water later to put out the misery.
I don't like the sound of that.
In any case, my dear fellow, that was quite unconvincing. Only Japanese mice make a choo sound.
Oh really, Sholmes? And pray tell, what sound do Russian mice make?
P, naturally. Oh, those... Wow, lost his voice in that one. P, naturally. Though, also quite unconvincing, I readily admit. Go ahead, Mikitoba. Do a PP this time.
No, thank you. I'm sure I can come up with an alternative solution.
Pull the
alarm!
Stop the whole ship. Make it crash.
Ah, the switch for the electrical lights. Perhaps if I were to turn off the lights, the crewmen wouldn't be able to see what we're doing.
Ah, what is happening? Where is light?
Now, Sholmes, now!
Thud.
Bump.
Humph, nobody there.
That was a close shave.
Quite a knack you have, stumbling so violently in an apparently empty corridor.
Do be quiet, Sholmes. I shall have to think of another approach.
Okay, I kind of like this. I kind of like just fucking around.
That's the way back to the deck. But we certainly can't give up on this now. That's a speaking tube for members of the crew to communicate with one another from around the ship. If I could just persuade our stocky sailor friend that he needed to use it, Sholmes could unlock the door whilst he was distracted. The question is, how?
Alright, well, yoinking it.
This would appear to be an alarm bell. All hell would break loose if that thing would ring. The whole crew would know about it. Here goes then. Pardon me in advance.
You! What are you doing? If we were at sea, that would be very bad problem. What's going on down there? Seaman Stroganov, report at once. Sorry, sir. Nothing to report. It was just stupid trick. No, not by me. By world famous... No, as I told you.
Now, Sholmes, now.
Done.
Not even 5 seconds, eh?
Well, don't stand there gawping at my brilliance, Mokatoba. In we go.
Oh, yes.
Third November, the SS Grouse, first class cabin number 2.
Good gracious.
It would appear that the occupant of this cabin did indeed disembark rather hurriedly.
Those clothes on the floor there. They're Seshiro's, without question. Or Seshiro's, without question.
Well, it seems we are just a little too late.
Yes, by about 2 hours.
Still, whilst we're here, we should investigate thoroughly. There may well be 2 hours worth of clues to find in here.
But that burly crewman may return any moment, Sholmes.
Indeed he may. Which makes this all more thrilling. That I've locked the door. Get fucked.
There's a speaking tube here, look. It's been stoppered with some cloth. So the voices of the crewmen on the bridge aren't an annoyance, I suppose.
Oh, indeed. So that the voices in this cabin aren't heard elsewhere.
Huh? Could something have happened in here that was for no one else's ears, do you think?
Either that, or it could be to prevent snakes from entering.
That's really become a favorite case of yours, hasn't it?
Quite the exquisite glass, I must say. See here, how it...
Is something wrong, Sholmes? You suddenly trailed off.
Ice, Mokatoba, ice. What opulence the first-class passengers enjoy. Chilled drinks.
Pardon?
Could it be that the steamship is equipped with an electrically refrigerated cold room, do you think?
Well, it is a luxury liner after all. They have enormous refrigerators for storing all sorts of lavish produce as well as ice. On our voyage from Japan, we enjoyed culinary delights from all over the world.
Suddenly, Mokatoba, the sight of you is making my mouth water.
I haven't taken on the flavor of food I ate, you know. Plus, we haven't done that in years, Sholmes. I told you, it didn't feel right.
Alright, so they're hinting here that Gregson was killed on the ship. It is literally the same. It's the same exact ship, but just, you know. But yeah, so this is the... They're implying that Gregson was killed on the ship, and he was stored in the freezer, and that's when they took his body out and left it there after they pretend to shoot it.
According to the report I was given, Naruhodo was concealing himself in Asogi's wardrobe.
Indeed he was, and it was of similar size to this one. Ah, you must climb inside yourself, my dear fellow.
What? Whatever for?
It was the site of my first fateful meeting with Mr. Naruhodo. You can experience the moment for yourself now, complete with my dramatic rhetoric. Come along now, in you go. This will only take a moment.
Really, Sholmes? Surely you can just tell me what you said.
Well, I uttered some brilliant remark and opened the wardrobe to reveal the stowaway murderer.
I think I'll just read about it in the Adventures of Herlock Sholmes.
So when is this gonna be the sequel? What I really need Mikotoba and Sholmes now. I kind of want this just to be its own mystery game, where we just follow these two around in their younger days doing the mysteries. I kind of need this now. Like, I'm in. Ace Attorney's good and all, but we can make this a side adventure. Make this a secondary game.
This is the wastepaper basket, look. And there's still rubbish inside.
Indeed. Then let us pry. I've discovered recently I have a penchant for exploring the contents of others' wastepaper baskets.
I sincerely hope only for your work.
Ah. Here we have a notice issued for the passengers from 3 days ago.
3 days ago? The night before we arrived in London, then. When I was still aboard myself.
Evacuation drill notice, 31st of October. Alright, don't let me read it then.
Ah yes, there was an evacuation drill, I remember now. For our safety and security, all first-class passengers were constantly under the watchful eye of the crew. So it was a welcome relief to have some privacy for once.
The evacuation drill itinerary has been entered into the court record. Oh, I can't pull the record up now. Okay. There's a substantial heap of clothes on the floor. An overcoat, shirts, a dressing gown, momohiki work trousers, a tanzan robe, a harakiri waistband. Oh, it was, wow, I don't know what I was doing.
Momohiki work trousers, a Tenzin robe, harakiri waistband. Clearly the clothing of a Japanese man.
And clearly, Japanese men are unaccustomed to the culture of the wardrobe.
It looks to me as if they've been thrown in a heap like that in something of a hurry.
Indeed. You could help yourself to a Japanese man's shirt, perhaps? I'm sure you'd make mention of packing to a few.
I very likely drown in one of Seshiro shirts. No, I'll just bury any extras. I'll buy any extras I need.
Yeah, they do. It's a standard pairing of having the I forget the fucking word for it. The screwball and the and the straight man. And Sholmes is smart enough to like Sholmes is so far he's been a nice enough mixture of helpful, cocky, and kind of like you said, like just zany. Like he's got enough weirdness to him, along with being smart enough to back it up, and also not being like a complete douchebag to everybody. Like he's annoying and an asshole sometimes, but most of the time he's just working with you. Like you're just doing things together with him. So it is the standard like connection, but it's working quite well. And then yeah, like what we just did with the doing something to distract him in the scene, but Mikotoba's messing around kind of in a goofy way, but also goes along with it. That's also pretty. Oh, so come on, seriously. Seriously?
These are the rules of passage. Passengers must not keep weapons or other dangerous objects in their cabins. Pets are also strictly forbidden. Additionally, there are several punishments for stowing away in wardrobes and or their travel cases.
I feel the rules have increased since I last read them. Probably just my imagination.
But what about the fact that they're not straight on the wall? Doesn't that strike you?
You may be right. Probably just your imagination, though. A trifle. And you know what I always say, Mikotoba? There is nothing important about trifles.
It's probably just my imagination, but I think that might be the slightly off. The wall is slightly different color just here. Do you see?
Indeed. What you have observed arises when a frame that has been hanging for some time is removed. Perhaps your friend is an art thief.
Now there's a bold deduction worthy of a great detective, I'm sure.
He may very well be the elusive thief who we've been plaguing France's galleries of late.
I think perhaps we should focus our attentions elsewhere, Sholmes, don't you? That outline on the wall. I feel as though I might have spotted something of a familiar shape and size somewhere. These are rules of passage. Yada, 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 yada.
Okay, so there's nothing that gets me to... Okay.
Plenty of reading materials to keep passengers occupied on the long sea voyages. And I found the mixture of classic literature and easy reading to be most satisfactory, I must say.
Whoever stalked the bookcase was a hopeless heretic. There's no copy of the Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, my dear fellows.
I'm afraid it's just me, but no, you're quite right. More blasphemous than overlooking the Bible.
I shall leave a copy behind. I just happen to have one with me.
You're not a true missionary from the Church of the Great Detectives, aren't you?
That's a very sizable trunk indeed.
Cicero is a partial to all things large.
And a rather clumsy fellow, if you failed to notice he'd left that behind.
Perhaps he left it on purpose. It's lighter than you think, but it's still a hindrance to speedy escape.
Pity, it's locked. We can't look inside.
Surely 5 seconds from now the situation will be quite different, though.
Sadly not. It has a 7-digit combination lock. And I'm not in a morose enough mood to work through all the combinations at present. You are still here.
Ah, Able Seaman Stroganov. Hello again.
I was beginning to think you'd never materialize. You are waiting for me? Of course. I was expecting you to burst in with a hearty Russian profanity far sooner. I was in trouble with Captain because of trick you played before.
Poor innocent chicken.
It's all your fault. Ship is leaving port soon. Get off now. Of course, we shall disembark presently, my dear fellow. But first, there is something that must be done. What are you talking about? Why, naturally. The debunking of your deceit at and the barring. It doesn't feel like it makes sense to my head. The debunking of your deceit and the barring of the truth. Or the bearing. The bearing, there you go. The debunking of your deceit and the bearing of the truth.
Gyoki!
I'm afraid I see through your lies. For one thing, Mr. Jikoku has not yet left his vessel at all.
Oh.
And for another, my dear Seaman Stroganov, you know exactly where the man is even as we speak, don't you? He's in the trunk. How can you?
Well, gracious, Holmes, you mean you've worked it out? All of it?
Yeah, so I think what he's going after is the ice in the glass is not even remotely melting. Like, that's like almost fresh ice in the glass right there. And all the clothes are on the ground in front of the suitcase. So he's literally just emptied out the suitcase and got inside. And it's big, just like him. It's really been too long, hasn't it, old friend? 10 years, no less. So, would you care to join me for a dance of my inimitable logic and inimitable logic and reasoning? Or is it inimitatable? It's inimitatable. That doesn't feel right. but I guess there's no other way you would say it, right? You wouldn't say un... No, I guess it's inimitable? Oh, okay, you say inimitable. Okay. Of my inimitable logic and reasoning. Would you please join me once more? What is this? We have but minutes until the vessel puts to sea. No games now. The time is of the essence. Mr. Stroganoff, allow me to remind you of your earlier claim. You told us that Shikoku left the ship some 2 hours ago. Da! That is what I said. Sadly, that was a rather clumsy lie. You see, there is something in this room that quite clearly contradicts it. What?
Ah, yes, of course.
I see you've noticed it too, Megatoba. Then please, do take the lead. What in this cabin shows the impossibility of Shikoku having disembarked 2 hours ago? Let's see what the last 3 years have done to your observation skills then, Megatoba.
It's been 10 years since we last did this, Sholmes. Not 3.
Why, of course it has, quite. Now, all the clues are here on this cabin for your eyes to see. But as I always say, you must not merely look, but observe. Observe and the answers become clear. So, impress me.
I think I can manage that.
Take that!
Okay.
Perhaps you should have cleared away that glass.
How curious that ice shouldn't have melted despite it being abandoned 2 hours ago. No. It would appear that the man in here is at the very cabin until moments before our arrival, with its well-chilled glass in hand.
Get your mind out of the refreshments, Sholmes.
One might even conclude that somebody informed him of our boarding. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Stroganoff?
But why would Seshiro run from us?
Before we consider that question, allow me to confirm one smaller matter. Would I be correct in saying that these first-class cabins of the SS Grouse are the same ones in which you and Mr. Jigoku were accompanied on this voyage from Japan?
Ah, that's right. They are. I was in the cabin next door, and Seshiro was, yes, 50 days in this very cabin during our voyage.
As I suspected. For you see, there are traces in this cabin of a dark secret that Mr. Jigoku had to hide.
What traces?
I don't know nothing about this. And this is news to you, is it, Mr. Stroganoff?
Sholmes, what exactly are you getting at?
As I said, there are traces in this cabin of some nefarious activity. Something that appears at the place, of which I'm quite sure you won't have escaped your notice.
Something out of place in here. That's the key to this,
Megatoba. The remnants of the dark deed that took place here are being masked by something quite obvious. I must say, I didn't foresee ever doing this dance of deduction with you again, Megatoba.
No, quite. But life is full of unexpected twists and turns, as we well know. Now then, let's see if we can uncover the truth here.
Yes, you have the floor, my fellow.
Take that!
It's the rules of passage on the frame here. They're obviously out of place. The way they're hanging crooked on the wall as if they were put there in a hurry.
Yes, as I'm sure you've already concluded, that frame was originally over there. The shape and size are a perfect match. Da, you are right. When did frame move? Hardly the most observant of crewmen, are you, Mr. Stroganov? I would think your captain is quite justified in having his reservations about your reliability.
Oh dear, that really seemed to touch a nerve.
So, Megatoba, why don't you lift that frame off the wall?
That looks like a bullet hole.
What? Who has been shooting walls? I see. The projectile has been removed. Clearly, the careful occupant of this room has already disposed of it. Now then, Mr. Stroganoff. Duh! I have the distinct impression that you're attempting to shield said occupant. I don't know what you're talking about. Why would I try to protect Eastern stranger? Ah, well, we are talking about the same man, I see. Good. Duh! I'm sure we can get the bottom of this in no time. Aren't you? Because there's some very noteworthy evidence that explains the reason why you're lying for the man. Yes, you've been told to keep up this pretense, as clearly shown by...
I really don't know how to approach this one, Sholmes.
Ah, my dear Mikotoba, simply keep first principles in mind. Study your subject from every angle, and I'm quite sure that you'll see it. In fact, I'll put a wager on it.
I'm glad, I'm glad the fellow from all sides? Well, I can certainly do that.
It's the name on the arm. Oh, no, there's actually money in the pocket. Okay, never mind. I was going to say, it's Sholmes written crappily on his arm. For who am I supposed to keep away? But yeah, okay, there's just flat out money in there.
Take that!
It's almost too obvious for words.
Quite. The universal language of the world. Money. No!
And I wager that the Eastern fellow in question is Seshiro Jikoku, yes?
Gah!
So, I presume you realize what this means? There are clear signs that this crime has been committed in this cabin. And the way you're going, sir, you'll find yourself accused of being an accomplice.
But... I believe you know, Mr. Stroganoff. You know where Mr. Jikoku is hiding at this precise moment in time. Duh! As always, Mikotoba, matters of deduction, the furtive glance is your unfaltering ally.
Yes, I think you're onto something there, Sholmes. You found the chink in the burly fellow's armor.
We need only follow the man's gaze to know where our prey is hiding. The slightest flicker of the pupils, a minutely detailed blink, nothing escapes my attention, even that which is barely perceptible.
You could hardly call this barely perceptible, Sholmes. The man turned his entire head. Not exactly what you would describe as a furtive glance, is it? It's almost too obvious.
We shall let your tapping toes aside, my dear fellow. I mean, it's literally staring at it.
Take that!
You turned immediately to look at this large trunk, didn't you?
Duh!
The truth is, Seshiro Jikoku was unable to escape from the ship in time, and is, at this very moment, doing his best to stifle his breath inside this trunk.
If he still has a breath to take, I fear he may be running dangerously low on air.
Huh?
I imagine he didn't count on us making a nuisance of ourselves for quite so long. I think it would be in everyone's best interest for us to open the trunk as quickly as possible.
But how can we? Are you forgetting this about the combination lock? We don't know the 7-digit code.
The combination lock can't be opened from inside the trunk. Therefore, there must have been an arrangement for somebody to open it after our departure.
Of course.
In short, before Jikoku hid himself inside that trunk, he must have told somebody the 7-digit number for the lock. I'm sure you can confirm, Mr. Stroganoff. No, I know nothing about combination. I know nothing about combination, chode. I know nothing about combination, chode. Shh, don't move a muscle, my good seaman. Huh? Now, Mikotoba, would you do the honors and open the trunk?
How on earth do you expect me?
It's a 7-digit number, remember. Quickly now. We have little time. I'm gonna need... Alright, well, it's only 5. Okay, so the S, what's an H? What's the H? Is this the H? 5, 4, yeah. I don't. I would like to look at the picture again. Oh, review scene. It's here. 01325. Is that an E? It's not an E. Is this another 0? Like, is the E supposed to be a 0 or is the E a 2? It is a 2. Okay. I had it 2 at the start, but I wasn't sure.
Take that!
No, it's refusing to open.
Damn it. Tell me, what number did you use?
Well, to begin with, I thought you might try. I might try my birthday.
No, birthday? Interesting, since as of your today, with that absurd guesswork, you're dead to me.
Measured as ever in response. As measured as ever in response, Sholmes.
Okay, that's not it then. Oh, okay, yeah, he looks at it from his own arm. Alright, I makes sense. Alright, I got it. Alright. You haven't spot to bother. Yeah, okay. So it's just the opposite. Five, 2, 3, 1. Four, 0.
Take that!
There we are.
I did it. It's open. You had a medal, didn't you? Well, Eugen, you found me now. Sashiro. I was really hoping beyond hope not to find you here, you know? But you're not entirely unsurprised, I take it. No, quite. I just wish I were some other way.
Well, are you ever going to introduce me?
Ah, your reputation precedes you, Mr. Sholmes. I've read stories of many of your exploits. Sorry. Your reputation precedes you, Mr. Sholmes. I've read stories about many of your exploits. Excuse my manners, Sholmes. This is Mr. Jogoku, my old friend and traveling companion.
The devil is in the details, Mikitoba. I believe you meant to say your old friend and traveling companion, who made the cowardly decision to flee the country without a word to anyone when things turned sour.
I see my reputation precedes me well. What an honor. Well, Cicero, are you going to explain all this? You know it all by now, I imagine. What you didn't know, of course, is that 3 days ago, on the night before our arrival in Britain, an attempt was made on my life here in this very ship. By the Reaper of the Bailey. Yes, I've since heard. Because you were one prosecuted by the Reaper, weren't you? 10 years ago now, mind you. And I had no idea at the time what a dangerous individual he was. Anyway, when we arrived in London to find the symposium was postponed until goodness knows when, it became all too apparent to me that I might very well be targeted again. So you decided to flee the capital without saying a word to me about it? I'm afraid so, yes. Of course, I realize now that I really ought to have confided in you. It Somewhat surprising, I must
say.
What is?
The first-class cabins aboard luxury steamships are in very short supply. It's more than a little hard to believe that this one just happened to be available.
So says the protagonist of some colorful short stories. Well, I don't care about you for your opinion. The cabin did just happen to be available, so I purchased a ticket. Then here I am. I've just seen for myself the obvious remnants of that incident in this cabin. So you already purchased your return ticket before we even docked in Dover, had you? To prevent anyone else from taking this cabin and seeing the evidence, is that it? Eugen, I have nothing to say to you.
Well, in a mere 5 minutes, the ship will set off on its onward voyage and not make port again until Italy. I'm afraid we must insist that you disembark with us at once.
You have no jurisdiction over my movements. We have this, Cicero. Take it. What is it? It is a subpoena from the Old Bailey. You're a man of the law. You know what ramifications of ignoring a document like this from British courts would be. You came prepared then, Eugen. Come on, let's go.
One moment.
What is it, Sholmes?
Inside Mr. Jikoku's trunk, I found this rather fascinating trinket.
What is that, Cicero? I can't help you, I'm afraid. Some small component from something. But what? I have no idea. By the look on his face, I think he generally doesn't know.
Well, let us pocket it as a small souvenir of our brief sojourn in France. The small component has been entered in the court record.
Well, young Naruhodo, I think we've done as much as we can, I'm afraid. The rest will be on the shoulders of you and your assistant.
November, 12:10 p.m. in the Old Bailey Courthouse. Kazuma Asogi, I know you, and I know you wouldn't lie. But still, there's no doubt that you're holding something back. You know more than you're saying.
During the past 30 minutes while our court was adjourned, all possible efforts were expended. But sadly, Mr. Jikoku's whereabouts could not be ascertained.
We must accept that the unfortunate conclusion that the Reaper has already done the deed. There's no sense in wasting any more of the court's time. The prosecution calls for an immediate verdict.
Objection!
No, the trial cannot end now. You're a Japanese man, Ryunosuke. You should know when to lay down your sword. And you should know when never to presume when the battle is won. The court has already been presented with all the evidence and heard the relevant testimony. And there can only be one conclusion, that the accused is guilty. And all relevant testimony? Far from it. There's still a crucial witness, from whom the court is yet to hear a single word of testimony.
In that case, call your witness to the stand at once, counsel.
Yes, my lord. Tomorrow, if possible. The witness is already on his way, and scheduled to arrive tomorrow.
Who on earth is this crucial witness?
Cicero Jikoku. The very man allegedly murdered by the Reaper.
Judge Jikoku? You found him? But the investigation of every policing resource in the capital suggested Jikoku was already dead. How, in the name of God, did you find the man?
He was located in France during the recess, at the port of Dunkirk. Thanks to one of Mr. Herlock Sholmes' famous deductions.
Herlock Sholmes?
Inspector Gregson almost certainly met with Mr. Jikoku on the night of his death, because along with Prosecutor Asogi, Gregson was on a mission to assassinate the man.
which means that Seshiro Jigoku is the sole witness, who can clarify exactly what happened aboard the SS Grouse on the 31st of October. Well, it would appear that it's too soon to move to adjudication at this point. The prosecution concurs. The court must hear Mr. Jigoku's testimony. No judgment will be passed until all testimony has been considered. In that case, I hereby call the end of today's proceedings. Court will reconvene in the same hour tomorrow. No objections from either side. No, my lord. No objections, my lord. We'll live to fight another day. By the skin of our teeth. To be continued. Tomorrow! Alright, so I actually have a question. Tomorrow, I should have free time. I will definitely have free time, is what I'm saying. I think it's only Stormpike here right now anyway. Unless I did 2 streams, which I probably wouldn't do, considering how much this is going to work on the voice. Do you want me to do this? Do you want me to stream this again tomorrow during the day or during the original time? And yeah, Kazuma is being kind of a dick now. At the very beginning of this trial, it felt like he was trying to get us to get to a realization that he already had, and he already knows the answers to things. But now Kazuma's really kind of like, feels like he really does think somebody else did something bad and is trying to get an outcome that he wants, rather than knowing the truth and trying to get us to dig it up with him. Like, the first half of this trial felt like a tag team. Now it actually feels like I'm fighting him. But anyway, when would you prefer the next stream tomorrow, Stormpike? The normal evening time or during the day? Starting sooner, yeah. I don't know if the next session's going to be 3 hours or if it's going to be like multiple sections of multiple hours, but there's definitely going to be a big epilogue. So yeah, I'll start a bit earlier than my normal time, but I'll start in the evening-ish. I probably won't start in the middle of the day, unless maybe I should. Should I start in the middle of the day? I could start at like maybe 4 or 5. Or I could start early, like 2. And then just keep going. I know you usually have dinner later on in the night, so you might miss out the very ending, but... Okay. That sounds good. But yeah, I'm definitely going to be back tomorrow. I'm going to keep reading more of this because, A, I'm very interested in this game. I really want to see how this ends up. I'm very in on everything. I do like the fact that they've done a bunch of reveals that completely take some of my other ideas and throws them out. Like, Gregson was leaving with... was going to leave with what's her name, and that's why he wasn't going to pay the informant anymore, and that's why he killed Gregson. But now that turns like that's not even going to be a thing, and I've just been completely pulled off on a side bit. But I think definitely the what's his name might have set up the body. But anyway, we'll figure out how the game wants to do this. Anyway, thank you all for watching. I'll be back in tomorrow. And, yeah, we're going to maybe finish off the entirety of this case. Let's go. Just as long as I don't have to do both Mikotoba's and Strongheart's voice at the same time. Because that does take a bit of a toll. But anyway, yep. I'll see you all tomorrow. Sometime during the day, going into the evening. I really want to finish this. I'm so in. Anyway. See you all next time.